Hello everyone, I'm Himani Gupta and I'm live streaming from Mumbai, India. So there's a lockdown announced here and that's why I'll be streaming from indoors. And today I'll be narrating my safari experience from Kana Forest and I'll be showing you some images and a video so that you all can have a glimpse of the video. So you all can have a glimpse of the forest. And I really hope you enjoy this journey with me. But before starting, I want to tell you some facts about Kanha National Park, some details about Kanha Park. So, Kanha National Park is located in Madhya Pradesh in central India, and it was declared as a tiger reserve in 1973. So, the whole Kanha forest is lush green and very dense, and very lush green and very dense, and that's because it's majorly composed of evergreen sal trees, and it supports like over 300 species of birds and 43 species of mammals that include tigers, leopards, sloth bear, Indian jackals, Indian wild dogs, which are also known as dholes. So this is like these are the different varieties of mammals that you find in Ghana. So now I'll show you one image. So this is the habitat shot of Kana, and I clearly remember that the leaves were very green, very bright and fresh green in color, and also the whole forest was filled with the aromatic fragrance of the leaves, and so I'm just getting a comment, and Dillian is saying hello. So hi, and you all can keep on commenting and asking me questions in between, so that it doesn't become monotonous. And so as I was saying, the forest was filled with aromatic fragrance, and then I'll come to the another image now. So this is Barasinga, the swamp, which is locally known as Barasinga, but it is a swamp deer. And this is as I told you earlier, that there are 43 mammal species in Kanha National Park, and even though it's a tiger reserve, the star attraction is sambar deer. So sorry, the star attraction, the star attraction is Barasinga. I'm so sorry. This is my first live, so I'm a bit nervous. But anyway, I'll go on. So, it is the star attraction of Kanha National Park because it is the state animal of Madhya Pradesh, and it is exclusively found in Kanha Forest. Like it's not found anywhere else in the world. Uh, and um and there's a story behind this species. Like 50 years back, almost 50 years back, it was almost near to extinction because of habitat loss and hunting, but because of the great efforts of forest officials, and it was brought back from extinction. So what they actually did was that they created enclosures in the heart of the jungle, and they carried out many breeding programs, and that's how they were, like, today the count is close to 800, which is a real success story. And I and you know and I think that's a real great success story. And they are also being reintroduced to a new nearby jungle called Satpura. And there's one interesting fact also about it, that Kana Tiger Reserve was the first tiger reserve to announce officially the swamp deer as its mascot. It was called as Bhur Singh the Barasinga, which means Bhur means golden color. As you can see, the color is golden a bit, and Singh means antlers. So that's how it was. This initiative was taken to raise awareness amongst the youth, to spread awareness about this species and to save it from extinction. Okay, thank you, Dylan, Bharat, and Tanner. It's the first live, so I'm a bit nervous. Anyway, so coming back to my safari experience, like the Kana forest is divided into, many zones, but only 20% of the forest is 20% of the forest is open to the visitors, and that 20% of the forest is further divided into core and buffer zones. So the I went to in all the four safaris. I did four safaris, and in all the four safaris, I went to two different core zones. So our first safari started in the evening, where we went to a zone called Mukki Zone, and it was not really a great safari because we didn't spot any tigers or big other mammals, but we didn't really spot any tigers or other mammals. But sorry. We didn't spot any animals or other tigers, but we didn't spot any other animals or tigers, but I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So I really didn't spot any other tigers, but I think I did spot different varieties of birds and deer. We spotted spotted deer, black buck, sambar deer, and even the barasinga, which I was talking about just now. So I'll just show you some photos. So there are two interesting birds that I saw, and I want to show you the photo of this first bird. It is called common hawk cuckoo, and the interesting story behind this bird is that it's popularly also known as brain fever bird. And you must be wondering why. Can anyone guess why it is called brain fever bird? So, okay, I'll tell you why it is called the brain fever bird. Because with the onset of the summer, the common hawk cuckoo, the male common hawk cuckoo starts making loud calls and repetitive calls, which sounds like as if it's saying brain fever, brain fever. So that's why it's named as brain fever bird. And I really found this fact interesting. And this is a crested serpent eagle. So when we saw crested serpent eagle, all of my fellow travelers and we all got very excited and we started clicking images. But we also waited for like 5-10 minutes for it to. We also waited for, to to face towards the camera, but there was no luck there. Then we ended our first safari with this beautiful sunset. So I believe that even if you cannot spot a tiger on a safari, the forest never disappoints you really. Because that's because you should feel the jungle with all your senses. The smell of the mud, the alarm calls, and even in this particular case, the smell of the sal trees. It was all so refreshing, especially when you're locked down for months and then you get to go to the forest. So it's always very rejuvenating to reconnect with nature. Then the next day we started our second safari in another zone called Kana zone. And the so it was like extremely cold. It was early morning, but the Kana zone is to reach Kana zone you have to cross Mukki zone. So the safari was very long. It was for about 5 hours. And in the second safari also we didn't really have much luck, but we did while returning we did spot one tiger. It was hidden behind the bushes. So like you could make out that there's a tiger only. It was so well camouflaged that you could make out that there's a tiger only when it was moving its tail. So yeah, that was so we couldn't really capture that tiger in either in photos or videos, but there were other some common deer species that I found. 1 second. So this is a sambar deer. So we found this sambar deer and I got this fantastic opportunity to click a photo. And then we also saw some vultures. They were preening their feathers, and this was one of them. So now on the same day, we went for our third in the evening. We went for our third safari. We went to the Mukki zone, and it was same as it was the same zone where we went for our first safari. So now we weren't really expecting much because the first two safaris were not that great in terms of sighting tiger or any other big mammal, but we still had our hopes. And we really got lucky in third safari because when we reached a particular pond in Mukki zone, we saw one male cub which was around 2 years old. It was just chilling out in the pond, and then it got up after some time. It went to a spot near the shade of the tree, and then it just went off to sleep. So that's when the waiting game started, and we all were waiting for it to get up and start doing some activity. So yeah, Pam is asking me, how did you feel seeing a tiger? This was not my first tiger sighting, so but then it was very very exciting, especially when your first to safari goes dry, you see so tiger in third safari. It really really feels awesome, and you feel like okay, the patience has bore fruits. So yeah, so as I was saying, so the tiger just went and slept off. Tiger just went and slept off, and then after some time, like when we were waiting, I noticed a bird called pied kingfisher, which was hovering in the air and then it was diving in the pond to catch fish. So these were like, there were several unsuccessful attempts, but after finally he could catch, the bird could catch the fish. And when this whole scene was going on, suddenly an Indian bison came, which is also known as Indian gaur. It came and it started drinking water, but the tiger was still sleeping. It was not aware, I think it was not aware of the presence of Indian bison. So the waiting game was still going on and on and on. And then after some time, suddenly the peacocks started making calls. And we all got excited, like, why are the peacocks making calls? What could happen? And that's when the another tiger makes entry. It was also a male cub, which was around the same age. So the another tiger came and it started drinking water. And when the tiger was coming, I could see it. The bison was very, very alert. And we were also very thrilled. We thought we might get a chase sequence or something. But the Indian bison left after some time and the tiger kept on drinking water. And so this was, so these two tiger cubs were the litter of a very famous tigress called Dhawa Jhandi of that area. And Dhawa Jhandi is in short known as DJ. So that was also a cool name. So yeah, our third safari was very, very interesting, and finally we were satisfied that we could see tigers. And I've made a short video which I'll be playing at the end, so you can see both the tigers there. Now I will move on to the fourth safari. So I'll show you how we started our fourth safari. Yeah. Okay, so Beam Shark says that sounds amazing. Thank you, Beam Shark, for encouraging and motivating me. Keep your comments coming in. So as you can see, we started, this is a tiger pug mark, and we started our fourth safari in the morning, and we were like tracking tiger right from the start. Again, we were going to Kana zone and we had to cross the whole Mukki zone. And we saw this pug marks in Mukki zone, and it was in the opposite direction of where our vehicle was going on. So we didn't even like follow the pug marks. We just moved ahead. And when we reached the border of Mukki zone and Kana zone, we saw two sambar deer, and one of the deers, like their tails were erect, like very upright, and one of the sambar deer was stomping its forefoot. So what does it signify? It signifies, like the guide told us, that it signifies that they can feel the presence of a predator around. So that there was a chill of excitement, and we were like, okay, so today also we might be lucky and we might get to see tigers, or even I was wishing for some other mammal as well other than tigers. So and then we just, and I'll show you the glimpse of the sambar deer stomping its forefoot in the video. So then we moved ahead and we saw this group of monkeys, gray langurs, frolicking around. And we just spent some time because the sunlight was too good. So we spent some time with the langurs, and the most interesting thing happened. Like, my wish came true, that I wanted to see something else other than the tiger, and that came true. So as we moved a bit ahead, suddenly our driver shouted, "Sloth bear, sloth bear, sloth bear!" And we just looked at the direction where he was pointing, and then we really saw a sloth bear, and that was the first time I saw a sloth bear. So Pam, I think more than seeing a tiger, I was more excited to see a sloth bear because it's a very rare sighting, first of all, and I too it was my first sloth bear. So it came towards us. It came very near to our jeep, and it started digging the ground for about good 5 minutes, and starting eating whatever food it could find. And then it crossed the road and went away. And the best part was that we got the exclusive sighting. So that is also in the video. I've saved like the best parts for the video, so have some patience. And then as we moved ahead, we saw a Indian jackal. So this jackal, so we were, because we were like, there was high chances of spotting a tiger. We didn't really stop and spend much time with the jackals. But again, I've seen a jackal for the first time in the wild in the safari, and I quickly clicked this image. And then finally I saw another cub of another tigress called Nana. So this is also a male cub, and he was just sitting in all its glory and licking its foot, and then after some time it started walking, and then we followed, like I mean we moved ahead and we saw, then I think then that's when the best sighting of tiger came, because we saw three tigers coming one by one out of the bushes. They were also the cubs of the same tigress Nana, and they were coming one by one out of the bushes, and then they were walking on the trail, and then for a very good amount, like 15-20 minutes, they sat on the road, and we just kept on clicking with our cameras and making videos. So I think I was extremely lucky, because in all the four safaris, I spotted like seven tigers, sloth bear, jackal, and something which was like unexpected. So we all were extremely lucky. And when we were returning from the forest, we saw this beautiful bird. It's called Indian roller. This image is clicked by my friend Akshay, and as you can see that the colors are very bright blue. So there's a story behind this bird, that the the bird is associated with the arrival of the god in North India, and that's how they consider it as a good luck. So this was really amazing. I had heard so many stories about Indian roller, and I finally got to see it. So now I will play a video which is like around 3 minutes 30 seconds, and I hope that you all can feel what exactly I've experienced in the safari. So I hope I did justice to it, and I hope you can. Now I'll play the video. So just enjoy. Sorry, before I play the video, I just got a notification that Mary Sue both donated to Cool Earth. So I'm really thankful to you, Mary. And as Alex told in the introduction, that we are supporting a fund, we are supporting Cool Earth by raising donations. So I encourage you all to, help us reach the goal. So thank you so much, Mary. It's really appreciative. So I'll play the video now. So I hope you all enjoyed the safari experience, which I tried to encompass in this video. And I've been getting lots of comments. So Sabrina, thank you. Bharat, thank you. And Danny Henley, thank you. Laurel Taylor, thank you. Tanya McPick, it's been my pleasure to be able to share my experience with you all. So Danny Hanley also donated to Cool Earth. Thank you so much. This is a really great cause that you all are supporting. Thank you so much. And Kazi Amina, thank you so much. I really hope you all enjoyed the video, and this was my safari experience. And if you enjoyed this live stream, then do tune in next time when I'll be talking about the migratory flamingos that come to Mumbai every week, every year in the winter season. So hopefully that live will be better than this one. So I really hope that I really hope that you all enjoyed this show. So one more fact that I wanted to tell about Kanha National Park is that the forest officials, as I discussed about the Barasingha success story, the forest officials are so good at their work that they organize like sensitization programs for the tribal kids who live around the area. So they sensitize kids, the tribes regarding nature, and they do this through games, interactive sessions, showing them documentaries and taking them on safari. So the officials of Kanha National Park are really doing great work. So I really want to thank them as well. And Bharat is saying the tiger coming out of the water was best. Thank you so much, Bharat, for all your support. And so I really want to thank Mumbai Travelers official as well, because it was they who organized the tour. And finally, I want to thank the forest officials of Kanha, and I really hope you enjoyed the live. So Janet is saying thank you for the video, and Chris is saying you did a great job. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for your support and love. And Ritika is like that was a nice video. Thank you, Ritika. So I really hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you, Daniel. I'll make sure my next stream is way better than this one, and I will definitely show you the flamingos that come around Mumbai every year, and some interesting facts about flamingos. I wish I could go out and show, but because of lockdown, I have to do all the streams indoor for a while now. So I think I will sum up everything now. I'm very, very thankful and humbled to be part of this mammals community and to be able to present at this event. And I really hope that we reach our goal to support Cool Earth today. I hope you all keep donating and help us reach our goal. So thank you all. Thank you so much.
गाउँछ अब नि गाउँछु This is after 5 minutes of walking.
Shut up. It's like it's after 3 hours of walking.
How long has it been?
3 hours.
यो चिया चाहिँ रेड पान्डाको लागि आज है
आज भेटाको उपलक्ष्य
हो यस्तै हो नि भाउजू हामीले चाहेको आज
मिठो नभए
होइन
मिठो मानेर खाउने
डबल खुसी छ नि त आज
मिठो छ
फेरि रे।
Hey guys, I'm right here in Bangalore, India, and I just want to talk a little bit about how I connect with nature as part of the Mammals Presenter Challenge. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out right now. So as a scientist, as a student, I connect with nature in a number of different ways, studying the different scales at which the diversity of wildlife on this planet can exist on, from large communities and ecosystems all the way down to the smallest molecules, and looking at the behavior to better understand who we are as a species. Because to understand how we've come to be, we need to understand the world around us. And so as a scientist, I find myself connecting with nature in a way that allows me to better understand just the human condition, to dig into these stories and to just really know who I am, who we are, and how we can change the planet for the better just by knowing who we are. So that's how I connect with nature as a scientist. Hey guys, I'm back here in a suburb of India in Bangalore. And I just wanted to add a little bit about how I connect with nature, just kind of an addendum to the video I made yesterday. So in addition to connecting with nature as a scientist, I also connect with nature as a naturalist. Fundamentally, that's where I got my start. As a small kid running around, helping my dad in the field, or spending time in the lab with my mom. My childhood involved being surrounded by nature my whole life. And so I've never quite lost that. So fundamentally, that is the reason why I do walk around and do what I do, whether that be out in the middle of the rainforest in Madagascar or Sri Lanka, in the Galapagos Islands, in a desert in the US, or even just here in a suburb, either back home in Canada or here in India. There's wildlife all around us, and so a very strong connection I have with nature is just being able to explore that, and share that with the world.